hello. I wish you would tell me who's on here. So I haven't been on here in quite a while. Work, school, vacation, all that stuff has gotten kind of crazy. So one of the things that's kind of come up in the last couple of weeks is a lot of our products for Limelight by Alcone have gone into out of stock. And they've done that for a couple of different reasons. The biggest one was to ensure that anybody who had already ordered was getting their products in a timely manner. We were getting very backed up because everybody wanted the products and they were having a hard time making them as fast as everybody wanted them. So they took the foundations out of stock so they could catch up on the orders. We're hoping the 1st of April that those come back. But one of the things that I wanted to show you is that just because you don't have our foundation doesn't mean that there aren't options here, and some really cool options. Some that honestly I had never really even considered. I'm going to show you how to basically use one of our concealers as foundation, and a lot of people are actually doing that as kind of the regular makeup. One of the cool things about these is they're considered to be camouflage, so they will cover just about anything that you've got. I did the video and the pictures of covering my tattoo here, and you saw just in a few minutes, the little amount of time I did, how much it covered and everything. It will cover scars, deep veins, big purple veins, obviously blemishes, things like that. So cool thing about it though, I think, is that it's waterproof, which the Marine and I are planning to do a trip to Niagara Falls and do the whole, like, you know, boat under there in the rain and all that stuff this summer. And first thing I kind of thought of as that was, oh my god, what about my makeup? And then, you know, I thought, oh, that's the perfect time to use my concealer as my foundation. So that's kind of what I'm going to show you tonight, along with a couple of other things. Our make-off wipes here, these things are the best makeup wipes I've ever used. I can't even begin to describe it. They basically will take off an entire face, including eye makeup and mascara, waterproof makeup, all of that with one single wipe. And you have two options with them. You can purchase them as single packs. These are what I love. I can't imagine now having makeup wipes that don't come individually. I have these hidden in everything. They're in my purse, my gem bag. I took them with me to Italy. It's just so awesome because you can just have a single one. We also have them in traditional packs as well. These are like your traditional pop-up packs that you pull out one at a time here. But you know how it is with these pop-up packs, or at least it is at my house. I don't use them a ton, so I would always find that my last few ones were dried out. So I love these individual ones, and they're super nice here. Basically, they're going to remove everything there. They smell really good. They're cucumber based as kind of one of their primary ingredients here. So I'm going to take off my current makeup with that. Feel free to comment, ask questions, chit-chat, whatever it is you might want to do. So while I do this, apologize, I don't have any good light in my house. And it becomes more and more apparent the more I try to find a good spot. There's a professional makeup mirror called the Reiki Skinny that is currently completely sold out, and I'm dying to get one. So as soon as it comes back in, that's definitely going to be on my major purchase and wish list. So as I said, they smell like cucumber. They don't leave that stickiness. You know how sometimes when you use a makeup wipe, they leave kind of that icky, sticky kind of feeling when you're done. Alright. Makeup is off. Yay! And here's my cloth. Still got lots of use on it, and I'll probably use it as I touch up and do this foundation as well. Alright, so what am I going to do here? Alright, first thing, just to show you kind of this, a lot of people have been asking about it. So, first base makeup primer here. It's just an ultra fine mist that goes on right before you put your makeup on here. Basically, it's meant to provide a layer for more or less your makeup to adhere to. Now, one of the best things about this is ours is silicone free. A lot of them on the market are not silicone free, and especially if you have oily skin and a primer that is oily, it's just going to kind of make your makeup slide off your face here. So it's also going to help keep your makeup from settling into those little fine lines that unfortunately we get as we get older. So just a fine little mist. Spray over, let it dry. I'm going to fan myself a little bit. As I said, I have terrible light here, and it's a little stuffy here in my bedroom, but if I turn the ceiling fan on, you'll see that through the light. So, I'm just going to give it a minute. Typically, you need about 4 sprays over the entire face here, and just allows basically a barrier under the makeup. It helps it to adhere to the face, helps to keep it from sliding and moving around as you go. And so that's your primer spray. Once that's dried, then we're ready to go. So what I'm going to show you today is do not disturb. Somehow the Marine managed to sneak in there. So I'm going to use our Concealer 3. It is actually what I use as my concealer under my makeup, and it's a really close match here. So our foundations are out of stock right now, but guess what? All of our concealers are still in stock. Plus, you don't need much. Now, a trick that another beauty guide used and has kind of been talking about is adding a drop of your must do to your concealer before you put it on, just to increase basically its palatability across the skin and to make it kind of smooth out. Because as you think about it, the concealers are going to be slightly heavier than the foundation because they're there, you know, to conceal something. So Must Do is awesome as well. It's a face oil, but I like to use it, especially kind of when I want to look shiny and happy. I will mix it in with actually my botanical foundation, and it gives this pretty dewy look here. So I've got a stiff foundation brush. You could also apply this with your beauty blender. Honestly, I've not done this with a foundation brush, so I'm going to do that. So I've got my Must Do, my face oil here. I'm going to put a drop of it onto my concealer right here. Take my foundation brush. This light is terrible. I'm sure. So when I'm using this, I'm actually just patting this into it, and if you can see here on my cheek in this light, see how much it puts on there that I'm then gonna blend in and out. Hey, Lauren. Man, I have terrible light. Oh, this light's terrible. My skin's actually not shiny in any way, shape, or form. I'll have to take you a picture. It's my big forehead and that light. I either need better light or a smaller forehead or both. I think I'd probably take both. I got the Cooper forehead. It's like huge. It like takes up its own like zip code. I'll take a picture when we're done so you can actually see it better. That's it. The foundation is on. See if I can get this better. There we go. That's a lot better as I pick it up and move it closer. So you can see that I've used this number 3 concealer, a brush, and some Must Do, and applied it just as if it was foundation. And you can't tell the difference. I could use a little bit more on my chin though now that I picked this up. Sorry if I'm like, you know, making you feel a little Blair Witch Project here. And then that makes me feel old that I use that as a reference. So, nice and smooth. It is going to be waterproof, so this is also a great option if you're going to be at the lake, you want some coverage, say at the beach, if that's your thing. As I said, we're going to do Niagara in the boat tour, so I feel like I'll probably use the concealer as a foundation instead. The concealers are all, as I said, in stock right now. So if you've been wanting foundation, this is a great option here. We'll add to your makeup bag. If you have our foundation and you know, you're thinking, what else can I do, or what could I use my concealer for? This is a great option for that. If you noticed, I used basically nothing to do a whole face, and I could go back and I could, you know, contour a little bit more, or I could fill in a few more places, but really this whole face is done with 3 swipes of this brush on here. You can't even see any left on here. So that's how much, when we say a little goes a long ways, that it really does in terms of these Limelight products, because they are at least 50% pigmented, and there's very few makeup companies out there that have that high of a level of pigment. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to show you today, those of you that have it, my cousin Christy has it and is now at the point where she swears by it. Hey, Kristen. Is the 10 years younger spray. So if you use the First Base primer, and then after your makeup is all in, you use this 10 years younger to set it. The bottle actually says that it will last up to 16 hours, and that's not a joke. Like, that's for real. And I tested it, actually. I didn't mean to test it, but I did. When we left for Italy, got up in the morning at like 7 or 8, put my makeup on, drove the 3 hours to Atlanta, got on a plane, got to Paris, and that was 9 hours later at that point, and we left at like 5. We got to Paris, I took a picture, hadn't touched up anything at all, and my makeup still looked really darn good. And that was like at 18 hours of wear. Won't lie to you, by the time we made it to Italy, like 5 hours later, it definitely looked like, you know, it was hitting its max. But at 18 hours, it still looked really good. If you look on my Facebook page, you can see that. So it actually works. One of the cool things about it, too, is that it's an ultra fine mist here. It actually, not only does it work to keep your makeup from settling into the fine lines and holding it into place, but it actually has good benefits to your skin overall as well. This is my moment when I'm feeling 40 and I need to like go back. It has hydrating and smoothing properties, so it just does a great job to hold your makeup into place, keep it from that's so funny. Sorry about the shake there. That was a dog scratching here. Just keep it from settling in. So you just, you know, most people do kind of like an X pattern to make sure that they get their whole face. You do about 4 or 5 sprays. It takes just a few seconds to dry, and at that point, everything is set in place. If you've seen the videos, one of the consultants on my team, Gina Gaines, did a really cool video. It's I shared it also to my regular Facebook and my group page. But basically, she put on foundations, I believe, with the, not foundations, eyeshadows, with the primer on, the eyeshadow, and then she set it with the 10 years younger, and then waited till it all dried and proceeded to try to rub it off, and it would not budge. So it really does set your makeup into place really, really well. And these are all in stock products. That's what I kind of also wanted to show you, is that some people have kind of gotten a little bit down that a lot of the favorite products or the products that they're dying to try are out of stock right now. It's a good thing and a bad thing, depending on how you want to look at it. The good thing is it just goes to show you the quality of Limelight, how much people want and love the products. Yes, it's a little bit of a bad thing when you either have to wait a little bit longer to get your shipment, or you have to wait a little bit longer to order. But I always think of it as, I don't know about you, but I'd really have a nice dinner at a 4-star restaurant and have to, you know, wait a week or two to get a reservation, as opposed to pulling up in front of McDonald's and getting whatever it is that you'll want. So we got to keep things into perspective here. The other reason why a lot of the products, as I said, were pulled out of stock was basically because we've had this major hyper growth. We've been having over 40% growth for the last 3 months, and it doesn't look like it's necessarily slowing down, which means everybody wants to either be a part of Limelight or they want their own Limelight products. So what was happening is that the order level was so high that not only the manufacturer was having trouble maintaining our demand, but then so were we in terms of our own shipping and receiving and warehouse space. Process right now, we've moved into a new 40,000 square foot warehouse. They're trying to get everything switched over. RCMA, which makes the foundation, is in hyperdrive, trying to get more made so that when we reintroduce it back to everybody, that this won't occur again, which I think is a really, really good thing. Our CEO today sent us a message, and one of the things I like that she said is, right now, many people will be either have or will be getting an email if you ordered one of the brand new repackaged mascaras. There's nothing actually wrong with the mascaras, and the reason why they're recalling it is that the packaging isn't exactly the same as what it was when they went through their test runs. So what happens is that they believe they got overfilled. Yeah, I know. Terrible thing to happen, right? They give you too much product. But the problem with giving you too much product was that the mascaras, when you would pull them out, were clumping. And since it's a fiber mascara, you would get clumps of fiber. Wasn't what happened in the year-long testing process, so that's why they believe that the manufacturer overfilled them. So anybody who has received one recently, before they pulled them off the shelf or off our shelves, basically are going to be getting an email and asking them if they got one of the faulty ones. Only like 20% out of the entire batch that got sent was faulty. The other 80-ish or so percentage is perfectly fine. Regardless, if you got a good one or a bad one, Limelight is going to send you a new one or offer you a full refund without also having to return the one that you ordered. So their idea is that customers always need to be happy, and that we have to maintain integrity within our company, our beauty guides, and our products. And that while honestly most companies probably wouldn't have cared if, you know, 80% of their customers were satisfied with the product, and there's only this 20% over here that has an issue. Most of them would just have let it go, revamped, whatever, done whatever. They wouldn't have recalled. However, Limelight is all about quality, maintaining its brand, maintaining its integrity. So they made the decision to pull the inventory, fix it, offer replacements to anybody that's gotten them, and move forward. So that's the reason why the mascara is currently out. We actually have tons of mascara, but the packaging isn't working the way that they wanted it to. So that's the reason why. One of the other things that I love is that they are working very hard to maintain flow and make sure that customers can have regular contact with them, that we as beauty guides can ask questions and are always given information. This is probably the most transparent company I've ever seen ever. Man, I wish the other jobs that I've had, I even wish, like, you know, I teach at a university. Man, to have this much transparency at a university that's, you know, like most typical universities having issues with enrollment and things like that. Like, this would be so unbelievably nice to always know what's going on. I always feel like anytime I have a question, the next thing I know, Michelle or Madison or Jacob are addressing it and telling us, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're doing about it, this is what we're trying to fix. So to me, that's a great thing. For those of you that have ordered from me and still have some back-ordered products, which is basically either eyeliner, mascara, or foundation, it's coming, and it's going to come pretty soon. For those of you that are interested in products that are listed as out of stock, if I have a sample of it, I'd love to share it with you. I'd also love to just kind of let you know as soon as it's back in stock, so that we can get an order in. I do have a bulk order going in on Monday morning for anything or anybody who's interested in basically putting one big order together. We'll get it with quick shipping, and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of what's been going on. As I said, I was on vacation in Italy last week. Italy was amazing. That was my first trip to Europe. I've been to Mexico, all over the Caribbean, down south, things like that. But this is the first time I went across the pond. And so, man, if you get a chance, seriously, Italy was awesome. We did Venice, Florence, and then Rome. Florence, I was okay with. Tuscany, though, when we went out to wine country in the area of Montalcino, where Brunello wine comes from, we went to two of the biggest wineries there. Man, it's beautiful. The wine is amazing, and it's just really, really neat. Now, I will tell you about Italy. Don't drive there. Driving there around Italy was not fun. It's a very confusing area to drive in. We got lost every single trip we drove on. I would highly recommend taking the high-speed train rather than renting a car, with the exception of going to Tuscany. Sorry, my little battery light came on. Driving through Tuscany is so worth it. It's just absolutely beautiful countryside. I mean, every movie that you watch that's filmed in Italy, especially like Under the Tuscan Sun and all those, like, it looks just like that. And the people are really nice. Venice, I absolutely loved it. I would love to have like more days in Venice than in Rome. I feel like we crammed so much into it and we didn't even see a portion of it. We went to the opera in Venice, which that was totally fun, and a really neat experience. So if you get the chance, do it. You know, they say the best money spent is on travel rather than things, always on experiences over things. And that's what I've kind of done this last year, is travel. And I've loved every minute. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned also how to navigate a whole lot of crazy, crazy experiences. The Marine left the lights on in the rental car in Florence because, yeah, you know, like, does anybody anymore own a car without automatic lights? I mean, right? They just automatically turn off. Didn't even think about it. Had a dead battery in Florence. And we had a time-sensitive day. We had to be somewhere by a certain time. and I had to use basically charades and very broken Spanish to try to talk to some Italian workers that spoke no English. But at least Spanish and Italian have enough kind of coincidences that I could finally get them to figure out what I was trying to say and get our car jump started so we could make it to Tuscany actually for the vineyards. So super fun experience. It was really, really hard to come back, and I definitely can't wait to do something like that again. So I will say this, Limelight, thank you. My commission paid for a whole heck of a lot of the experiences that we did there. You know, the winery that we wanted to visit, you know, for 2 people, it was $200. I would do it in a heartbeat, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But, you know, everything requires a ticket. Everything has a cost, and we did so many other extra things like the opera. And Limelight, thankfully, helped pay for that. So I love this gig. Can't wait to see what the future holds. There's some new products coming out. That little black box is coming out hopefully by the end of the month, and I can't wait to have that. One little box that's all magnetic to hold all your Limelight makeup and any other makeup, because let's be real, like Urban Decay has some awesome magnetic palettes as well. MAC has some really cool ones, right? Don't you want them all together so you have all your whole arsenal to be able to look at? So that's going to be super awesome. Plus, it's only $38. Like, 38? Really? Like, oh my goodness, right? I mean, it doesn't cost anything, basically. So that's super, super exciting as well. And as soon as we get an exact date, I'll let you guys know. And I know I'm going to be ordering it. So if you want one too, I'll get you one as well. Pictures of it are actually up on my Facebook page, the group page. It's Step Into the Limelight, or Limelight by Alcones. Step In with Serena. Sorry, goodness gracious. I don't even know my own website. But you can also order it anytime off my website or directly through me, and that's limelightbyalcone.com/Serena. So that's kind of what's going on. I'm about to sweat to death here, so I need to turn this fan on or my air conditioning on. I don't know which here. And I got a dog licking my foot down here, which is quite weird. So I guess I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to have some dinner, and unfortunately still doing laundry from vacation, so I feel like that never ends. So hope you guys had a great night. If you have questions about using your concealer as a foundation, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you. Or anything else that you might be of interest with Limelight, or if you're thinking about Italy, I would love to talk to you about my experience and to kind of share some of the do's and don'ts that we found out as we went along, and ways to make it better or easier, or some really cool stuff. So hope you guys are having a great week. It's Wednesday, which means we're almost to Friday. So have a great one, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.